Hello and welcome to the live. Hope everyone is doing good this evening. I sure am. I just wanted to go live. I've been posting for a while. I don't know if you all saw my anniversary special a few weeks ago, but instead of posting every week from now on, I'm just going to post when I have an idea of a video I want to do. And it's going good. I started my new job and I'm really liking it so far. I'm going to talk quiet this stream because my boyfriend is already asleep. He's an early sleeper or an early. But yeah, Eric is in the chat. I see. Eric, oh, there. Welcome. All is well. Thank you very much. And all of a sudden, when I started this, I thought my battery was at a medium, but it's low right now. Okay. And Cheeseburger is here. Yay. How are you all doing? How's everyone's week so far? This is really high, but if I set it a notch lower, will it be too low? No, I think that might be better. If you all have an opinion, please weigh in. Setting up high or low? What are your thoughts? You can hear me? Good. Jason Spears, hello. All is well. Thank you very much. Tom Ellis, yay. Your comment the other day made me think, oh yeah, I've been meaning to go live, so you helped make this happen tonight. Thank you for that. Tonight I'm drinking. Didn't want to go out for it. Steve, yay. Welcome. Cheers, you all. How's everyone doing tonight? What's new in your all's life? I just took a shower. Before that, I did the dishes and hung out with my boyfriend before that. Calix, hello. Welcome. How are you today? I have been good, thank you. Steve says snow's coming. Ooh, that's what I hear. Looks like it's going to be a snowy winter this year. Anyone got any plans for the snow? What's been up with you guys? Has anyone gone on any adventures lately? Any hikes? What was the question? I missed it. I've been asking several questions. Chat isn't really responding as quickly, so it's okay. Any plans for honestly? Trevor Kid, no way. Oh my gosh. Y'all, Trevor lives all the way, and as you can tell by the good day, it's about to be 100. Wow, that's crazy, man. Jason said, "Are you going to hike the CDT?" I don't know. Not. I don't have any plans to hike the CDT currently. Maybe the PCT someday, but the CDT seems a lot less community than the PCT and AT, and there's grizzly bears on it. The New Mexico section sounds a little bit more challenging than it would be rewarding, but I don't know. It's a very beautiful trail. Maybe someday. I wouldn't rule it out, but oh, okay. Sure, that sounds interesting. Steve, the new job is good. It's good. I don't want to say exactly what I do, so I'm going to be a little vague. I apologize. I like it because I get to use a more mathematical side and analytical side that I haven't got to use in a while. So I really like it. Tom said heading out to Louisville, Kentucky on the 20th. That's a great place. I love it. James Hirsch Hikes says, love your videos. Hit Glacier National Park this October. No way. I actually have done the Highline Trail. This was in 2015 before I even thought about doing YouTube. But that was one of the best trails I've ever done. So amazing. You're from Cleveland, Ohio? Very cool. Tom says, any recommended hiking trails near Louisville? I grew up going to Bernheim Arboretum, I think is what it is. It's not a city park. I think it's an arboretum. And something that is a city park is Jefferson Memorial Forest. Lots of trails out there. Okay. Tom says, Maddie's. Was that, were you going to say more there? Or just say in my name? There, yeah. Yes, I have. You already knew I've been to Glacier. That's awesome. The last time I went, though, when I was on road trip USA, I couldn't do the Highline Trail. I think a road or something, and you had to have special permits to go there, be there early in the morning. And of course, knowing me, I missed out on that. So I didn't get to go when I was there most recently. But beautiful place. One of my favorites. You all get to look at my book collection I have going on. The Hiker Yearbook from the year I did it. No parks that I printed out in 2015, I think. And it was so fun because I found it recently going through stuff, and I've been to so many since then. What else? The Hidden Seasons is a really cool book if anyone's interested. It's about, of course, there's 4 seasons, but in some cultures there is wet season and dry season. Some Native American cultures had 6 or 8 seasons, I think. Sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what it was. Micro seasons, where it's like instead of just spring, summer, winter, fall, it's like, I don't know. Very specific question. If money was no object, which sleep system, tent, or backpack would you choose? Ooh, interesting. That is a great question. I really like my sleeping mat that I have. It is a Static V by Climate. And my sleeping bag is still pretty good. Maybe if I paid the big bucks, I could get a warmer yet lighter sleeping bag. I haven't really researched them yet. Jed V says, oh, I have to look into those seasons of the Native Americans. Oh, yay. Cool. Yeah, it was really interesting. I read this a long time ago, so I don't remember much about it. Since I think had to do with the direction the wind was going at that time. And I was like, I didn't even realize wind would go a certain direction for a long time. So interesting stuff. Tom, to keep answering your question for its hint, I know that there's a kind of tent that's really popular that's blue and it's held up by trekking poles and it's made of Dyneema material. I think it's by Hyperlate. So I'd really like to try that. And as for a backpack, I don't know. I think the backpack I have might be the closest I'm going to get to, hair is so frizzy, sorry. The backpack I have, I think, might be the closest I'm going to get to being super comfortable. The parts to the buckle to adjust. I have a bony hip, so instead of the pad sitting on my hip like this and like poking into me, it like takes the shape of my body. You can't really see that. It takes the shape of my body better. Willstar says, "Are you single?" No, I have a boyfriend. We hiked the Appalachian Trail together. Welcome to my house. These two hats back here are the hats we wore on the AT. So that's a little fun fact. If anyone has seen my AT series, that's a little nod to that. Smoke mess. This Hyperlight, yes, my choice. Nice. Exploring Canada Info said, "Hi, just wanted to say thanks for all your posts and videos. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed them." Yeah, my sleeping bag, I forgot to say, is a Nemo Disco. And yeah, it's good stuff. Derek says, "Where do you keep Smoke's kettle?" I think it might still be in my van. Do you all remember at the beginning of 2024, I went kayaking in Florida. There were alligators. It was very scary. Of course, all the Floridians were like, "You'll be fine." But it's a different story when you're face to face with a giant creature who's just to, take a picture with it and show them, like, "Oh, the kettle made it down to Florida with me." And just a sentimental thing. But I don't think I ever, it just, my van, I used to live in my van, so it has a lot of stuff in it already. And I'm pretty sure I just never cleaned that out of it. Exploring Canada said, "Yes, I found you through AT. Yay! Appreciate that. I just learned Florida has crocodiles." Yes, the river I went to, the Peace River, doesn't have them though. Crocodiles are much bigger and much more aggressive to anyone dangerous as Australian crocodiles though. When I was in Australia, going to Australia wasn't on my YouTube channel because it was 2018, but I went, visited all of the states and territories, loved it. But the crocodiles were so huge, and it was like some bodies of water near because they will come out of the water and get you. So that's even scarier. I'm glad they don't have that in Florida. Exploring Canada says, "I feel like that in bear country." Yeah, they always say you'll be fine, for sure. Jason says, "Do you have any hikes planned for winter or waiting till spring?" No, winter, like, I just don't in my van in the cold, and then the AT I started and ended in the cold. Fall was beautiful in Maine, but I was freezing most nights. And let's see what else. Yeah, I'm just done with winter hiking around here. If I was to go somewhere like Alaska or Canada again, I would love that. But just the winter woods without snow isn't really enough to motivate me. So I am waiting till spring. Tom Ellis says, "Lights Under Louisville Christmas light show near the zoo. Have you been there?" That is like the biggest tourist attraction. Like, so many people go in Louisville around Christmas, but I haven't been because it is pretty expensive to just go look at lights, and you have to wait a really long time in line to get in. So I am not interested in that. And Sean Dawman, welcome to the chat. I hear you can film in Yosemite now. Yeah. So for y'all that don't know, when I started YouTube, it was illegal to film in all national parks. The National Park Service or whatever, I think honestly they were just like, everyone needs more money, and they were like, "Hey, if we make people apply for permits, that's a way that we can kind of get money, because there's social media is big business." I did the AT I applied for a permit because it's a national scenic trail. It goes through Shenandoah and Smoky Mountains National Park. And so I was like, I was thinking maybe I'll do something like enter a film contest, a film festival with the videos I make. I want to do it right. So I got a permit and it was $100. Anyway, now you don't have to have permits for national parks. And Sean says, live there for 5 years. Lots of places to explore. Maybe go back there. Oh, I wish. I love California so much. That whole area is so cool. Yosemite is so epic. It's like, I don't know, one of the places where you're like, oh my God. So it's going to be harder to travel like I used to. I don't have any plans to go out west currently. Just a lot of days. Ocala National Forest is awesome in winter, especially Juniper Prairie area. Nice winter backpacking. Where is that, Jason? What state is that in? Mama Muffin. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Mama Muffin. Hope you're doing well tonight. Ocala, Florida. Okay. Ooh. Florida. Let's see. That's either a 2-day drive or get up first thing in the morning, very early in the morning, start driving, and you'll get there at night drive for me. So I don't know. That would be a bit far to do on a weekend trip. I don't think maybe. I would love to though. I'll keep it under my belt. 15 minutes off I-75. Nice. Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh, Banff is my jam. Yes. Oh my gosh. What year was it? 2023. I got to go to Banff. And because I was on a budget, I didn't get to ski, but I did go on a few hikes. I went ice skating, and it was just, I loved it so much. Jet V says, I'm going to take some time for you to build up vacation. It's going to take some time yeah, for sure. And, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about getting a full-time job is vacation time. But the good news is the job I have, there are times where we're definitely more busy than others, and it's predictable. So hopefully that, works in my advantage, because I would hate to, ask off and then your work is really busy when you're. So that's one thing I really like about this job. Is Banff where you found the frozen waterfall? Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, that was such a cool place. If anyone hasn't seen that video, I went on this hike and it was snowy and I lost the trail. And I was like, well, I'm not going to take a risk just wandering around. So I have to turn back. But before I turned back, I was sitting there eating lunch and there was a frozen waterfall off this like rocky little cliff next to me. And it was glacier blue, if you know what I mean. Not like white ice or clear ice, but that beautiful greenish blue color. It was so magical. That was so cool. One of my favorite memories, I think. Let's see. Where else am I thinking of? Because I have this job, though, I have more money. So I think maybe if I do a trip in 2026, what I'm thinking of is what if I go to Shenandoah National Park, because it's not super far. I think it might be like 6 or 7 hours of a drive. And maybe I can have a 4-day weekend or so and go backpacking there. That is, if you remember when I was on the AT, Shenandoah is where I went aqua blazing. So I was riding a canoe instead of hiking, And so I didn't see that part of the trail. So that'd be something I would like. It would be new for me. It'd be kind of, cool to look back on my time on the AT and, feasible with the money and the time that I have. I would also really like to go, let's see, everywhere. The Boundary Waters would be cool up in Minnesota. That's not extremely far. Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Colorado. I've been thinking. I watched a video about the Colorado Trail. That was really cool. And I was like, it seems like it has the same camaraderie as the AT, but not as long. It would take about a month and a half, though, so I can't do it anytime soon. Johnny Z! Yo, Mads! What are you up to tonight, Johnny Z? How you been? Oh, DB, wishing you, family, and friends a blessed Christmas. Thank you, sir. Same to you. I appreciate that. Does anybody have anything exciting they're doing for the holidays? Anyone traveling? Anyone, I don't know, got a really cool gift for someone that they're excited for? Got a cool decoration set up? Think you will make it to trail days? Oh yeah, for sure. I'll definitely want to. Especially with it being on a weekend. And Damascus is about 6 hours from us. So yeah, I definitely want to go to trail days this year. Jason Spears, are you having a Budweiser? Yes. I bought this for a recipe. I bought a 6-pack of Budweiser for a recipe, a beer cheese soup recipe. It was so good. That was back in the fall. And I didn't finish the 6-pack yet. So instead of going out to buy craft beer for this tonight, I was like, well, I'll just have the Budweiser. DB says, just dealing with the weather. Cold here in NH. Oh gosh, I bet. Tom Ellis said you should show your documentary there. At Trail Days, I did last year and there wasn't a huge turnout. But the man in charge that was there watching he came to the documentary. This is also the person who has the record for doing the AT the most times, Warren Doyle. He was saying maybe next year we can find a better time slot because it was Saturday night. Some people head home early. The party crowd wants to go hard. So people just weren't really interested, maybe because of the time slot. So I don't know. Maybe we'll show it again. Watching it back this time, I was kind of, I don't know. I thought it would be like watching something brand new to me because we were watching it this year and I finished it in early 2024. But I was like, I remember planning every single shot. I remember editing every scene. So, yeah. Jason Spears says, oh, that's what you like. Yes. Budweiser, cheers to you then. Yeah, well, I like craft beer because, supporting local, but Budweiser is good too. And I really like Bud Light. That's what I drank when I first started drinking beer. I thought it tastes like apple juice, delicious. Jason says, your documentary was great. Thank you. I was really proud of how it turned out. Now, if I could only get it to blow up on YouTube, wouldn't that be cool? I did hire someone. You know how like there's a picture that you click on YouTube, and some pictures are really like you just have to click on it because it just looks so interesting. I hired someone to do that. Someone reached out to me and was like, hey, I can do this for you if you want. And a lot of people do that. And one time I was like, okay, maybe I'll give this guy a chance because who knows what could happen. And it was $5 for him to do this, make a picture for me. A thumbnail is what it's called. And I was like, well, it's only $5. But it really didn't seem better than what I could do myself. So I didn't even put it up because I was just like, this is not what I asked for at all. I told him I wanted it to look like a movie poster because that's what other through hiking documentaries do. You know, you want that cinematic look, but that's okay. You know, I gave him constructive but kind feedback, and hopefully that helps him along on his journey. Pops is in the house. How are you doing, Maddie? I'm doing good, Pops. Jason Spear says, I have a hiking channel. Oh, Yasin Hikes. I just started, and the thumbnails don't really mean that much. Just make them fun. D. Rocco said, I've always wanted beautiful places in my beer. Are you referring to when you are out drinking beer outside and maybe like you're sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground and you move your leg and like dirt gets in your beer? That's happened to me before. And I just keep on drinking it. Because that's my beer, you know? Man, this chat is making me miss the AT. So I will really hopefully get to go backpacking in Shenandoah and kind of relive some of that. Y'all definitely make me use AI for pictures. Oh no, I'm just not an AI person. I think it is wrong how much energy it creates, and like if the people that made these data centers had a plan, that'd be one thing, but they are polluting the air, they are polluting the water. Not to mention AI is trained off of other people's work, and it's just, it's replacing human artists. So I am not an AI person. No. DB says, I posted some stunning pictures of the White's Franconia Notch. Didn't get many views. Don't feel bad. Yeah, that's too bad. It's kind of like really half the battle of YouTube is having a good package that you're presenting to people for them to select from. The title and thumbnails, that's like half the battle. But I'm not the most talented in that department. Gioracco said, there's a trail right next to me, Northville, Lake Placid. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Do you hike that a lot? Tamela says, have I ever been sailing on a large lake or ocean? No. Oh my goodness. I have been sailing on a lake though. When I was in college, I worked at a camp that had sailing as an activity. And then when I did Road Trip USA, when I was in Massachusetts, I was like, sailing seems like a very Massachusetts thing to do. But it was October and the weather, it was like the first weekend of October, like 60s, 50s weather was predicted, but then it turned to like 40s weather, and they called me up and they were like, hey, we're actually going to have to cancel. And I was like, that's fine because I don't feel like doing anything today anyway. So that sailing didn't work out, and I was going to go on the ocean. I was very like, am I going to do okay? I was a little intimidated by it. I didn't know if my skills were sharp enough, but yeah. Glad y'all feel me about AI. DeRocco says, would you enjoy having your own lean-to? I don't know what I would put it because I don't own any property. It would definitely be cool. Pom Pom says, I just bought a diesel heater for my donkey, my van. Oh, that's so cool. Van life, what a time. I hope your diesel heater keeps you nice and warm. I used a little buddy heater at one point. I was using someone else's. And it kept me very warm. So I hope that works out good for you. Jason says, how do you like your new job? And are you adjusting well? Yeah, I really like it. On one hand, it is like getting up in the morning and, sometimes I want to do things one way, but my boss says to do it another way. And just like, I don't know, just having less free will, I want to say, as bad as that sounds. But at the same time, I really enjoy having a structure to my day. Like, as hard as getting up in the morning is, I do feel better about I get up at the same time every day, I go to bed at the same time every day. I'm not really that good about that on weekends, but I'm working on it. And so I like having a structure to my life. I noticed before it was kind of like procrastinate eating until I am starving, and it's just not a good situation. And with this job, it's more like, okay, it's about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. Other people in the office are eating lunch. I'm going to eat lunch. Come home. I know dinner is coming up soon. Breakfast, it's like grab something as I'm running out the door. But anyway, what I'm saying is, while it's a job, it does have some drawbacks. I really like having a structure to my days. So yes, it's going good. Thank you for asking. Derocco says, I want to own property next to the AT so bad. Yes, that'd be so cool. There was someone that I must have been Southern Virginia, I want to say, but they own property next to the AT, and they brought us a cooler of ice cream sandwiches. No, of Klondike bars. They had a four-wheeler, and they were like, here's some trail magic. Oh, that was so good. Jetfee says, I'm with you on AI. Yeah, that's awful. Oh, man. It just makes me so upset to be like, they know that these AI centers are going to, people can't breathe that live by them inside their own house. And I'm just like, how? And it's not like the average person really loves AI. Like, a lot of stuff I'm seeing, you all are with me, first of all, but a lot of stuff I'm seeing, people are like, how come there's no ability to turn off AI features? So, anyway, glad y'all are with me on that. Duraco says, I'd invite people to sleep in the lean-to. Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah. Meet some new friends that way. Leanna Loves Mountain says, hello, Maddie. Hello. Welcome to the chat. Glad you're here. Jason says, structure is always good no matter what the form is, as long as there is some structure. And Living in My Car Camper says, hello. Hello. Are you living in my car camper? Are you the same person as CC Camper Lady or something similar to that? Because there was someone that used to comment and like talk in the live streams. And it's your username is reminding me of their username. So I'm like, are you that person? So just wondering. DB is with me on AI. Chase says, greetings. Hi, Maddie. I also wanted AT property. Bought 7 acres in Vermont. Unfortunately, it did not work out. Too much of the property was designated wetlands. Living in my car camper, I was. Oh, that's so cool. I feel like a good guesser for realizing that. But anyway, Chase, well, that is too bad about your 7 acres being designated wetlands. But I bet those are very cool designated wetlands up in Vermont. What a beautiful state. Going back to what Jason said about structure, yeah, I think that was the hardest part about doing YouTube full time, is that I knew there was always something to do, but I don't know, it was just really hard. A good way, I guess I could say, I felt it was kind of a thing. Well, never mind. It was just hard to stay disciplined when it was only me I was answering to. I'm glad I have the structure, like I said. How big of a power bank did I use? Oh, Lloyd says, please say hi to Cheryl. She's loving you from California. Hi, Cheryl. Hope you're doing good. Duranko, back to what you were saying. Power bank for the AT or my van. For the AT, I have no idea. It was like, oh my gosh, it was like this big. I could charge my phone 2 times with it. For living in a van, I don't know. There is a video I have called Van Electricity Solution. And in there, I talk all about my electrical setup. When I got it first installed, I'm sorry, I don't remember the size of it at all. But it was an AGM battery. I can tell you that much. Pop says, I want to use my camper van to look for undeveloped land. I'm looking for it. How's your family doing? The family is doing good. Last time I saw them was Thanksgiving. That was so fun. I stayed the night at my parents' house because they live like a town over. And yeah, it was a nice time. Everyone's doing good. Thanks for asking. The video I'm working on next is, I think we actually, I think, talked about this a little bit before, but just how I really don't like to get outdoors in the winter. Going for hikes in the woods where like there's no leaves, it's just cold, you're just moving through bare trees. It's not really something I enjoy doing. So I'm like, how can I still get exercise and just like not feel like it's really hard to walk up a hill or something like that when I start hiking back in spring again. And so I'm planning a video about that. Leanna Loves Mountain says, what you drinking? Budweiser. I like to support small businesses and drink craft beer, but at the same time, I had this in the fridge, so might as well drink it. Tom Ellis says, what is Smoke's favorite hobby and music style? Ooh, a good question. His favorite hobby is definitely video games on the computer. He has a PlayStation, just like all sorts of stuff. He loves video games. And his music style, I don't know. I know he likes Snoop Dogg and like 90s rap. He'll also just listen to like throwback hits, which I always think is fun. Like, I don't know, just fun listening. It's fun to hang out with, that's for sure. Jet V says, ever think of trying rollerblading? Ooh, I guess I haven't thought of that. When I was a kid and I would go rollerblading, I didn't like when the pavement was kind of bumpy and then it just feels like your foot is vibrating super hard and, it's not really a glide anymore. So, no, I haven't tried rollerblading, but that's a good idea. I love ice skating, so I bet I would love rollerblading too. Haven't done it in a long time though. Um, when is your next major hike, Maddie? I don't know. I was talking earlier about how I'm hoping next year I can go backpacking in Shenandoah. Also, with this job, because before I could just go on an overnight camping trip anytime I wanted to, basically, it was hard to put my foot down and say, okay, I'm going this day. Now that I am working full time and I have the weekends, I'm like, okay, the weekend is coming up. Do I want to do anything? And maybe I'm hoping that I end up doing more backpacking and paddleboarding because of that. Because I've been, indoors all week and I want to get out. I want to do it while I can. So, hoping that is coming up. You don't need to say anything, but love from the UK. Ah, yay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Eddie. DB says, sorry, gotta run. Oh, DB, I bet you're already gone. I'm sorry. Say hi to your dad, family smoke. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you're still here, thank you. Duraco says, winter doesn't mean I stop camping on. Good for you, man. You are stronger than I am. Tom Ellis says, smoke avoided tech on trail. Ooh, good question. He avoided tech on trail. Is that because he is immersed in it for his work? I don't think so. I think it's kind of just a coincidence. Maybe, but not that he's told me. Because I think he just happened to break his phone before the AT and he kind of used that as, oh, okay, maybe I don't need a phone. I'm just going to be hiking for 6 months. And then it kind of became like his claim to fame, so to speak. And so as far as I know, it's kind of just a coincidence. But maybe it does have something to do with kind of a digital detox too. Jason says snowboarding. I tried snowboarding when I lived in Colorado, and I spent the whole day falling because the board I had was too small for me. And I think just having someone to teach me would have been a lot better than trying to learn from YouTube videos, before I went out on the slopes, So frustrating. That was a frustrating day, but it does seem cool. So props to anyone out there that likes snowboarding. Eric, hello. Glad you made it. I'm proud of you. Great job. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jet V says he just did that so he had a reason to stay with you. Yeah, really. Especially in Pennsylvania when there wasn't as many water sources, I would be the one to tell him, okay, it's this many miles to the first water source, or you got to look out for this section in the day because there's not as much water there. Yeah, that was fun. Fun times. I don't know if I could ever do it again, but I was thinking earlier today how the AT was the most fun I ever had and the most fun or the most pain I've ever been in at the same time. It's such a challenging experience, but just so unique and adventurous at the same time. That was getting on my nerves. Type 2 fun, exactly. Tom said, you might look into the Shenandoah Loop Trail. Ooh, that is a great idea. Thank you for telling me about that. Jet V says, sounds like raising kids. Oh, I bet. I bet. Very difficult, but very rewarding. Mama Muffin agrees. Oh, love that. Shout out to the moms in the chat. Very difficult. I bet. I bet. But then you look back and you miss it. Let's see. What else? Do you all have any suggestions you're looking? Suggestions for what I should make videos about coming up? And then the grandkids come along, and then it's totally different. Yeah, I bet. I hear when you have grandkids, because you're not with them 24/7, you're kind of not, you don't have to be the fun police anymore. You can kind of spoil them. So I'm sure that's all different. Chase Live says, I am 2 months post trail. No way. I was so glad to be done. Now thinking about hiking the AT again. Oh, so true, man. So true. 2 months post trail. So you finished in October. Man, how life changing. Eric says, Merry Christmas, Maddie and family. Thank you. Mrs. Pops wants us to hike El Camino de Compostela, Spain, but I've never hiked before and I can't walk from my bed to the bathroom without stepping on my tongue. And my lungs sound like an old generator. Oh, Pops, you totally should. First, you gotta get in shape. You know, it's hard, but it'll be so worth it. But I feel like the Caminos in Spain are just like such a cultural experience. I talked to someone that's did them, and it sounds like sometimes you don't even speak the same language as someone, but you're still friends because you're in the experience together. Oh, that sounded so cool. The experience sounds so cool. So I definitely hope you get to do it. You really ought to look into it. I bet it'll be awesome. Jetby says, can you put together a nature video with the life forms you have seen on your travels and with some education? Interesting. What do you mean by life forms? Like lifestyles, maybe? How people live? Jason says there's a lot of cool places in Kentucky. You could get 100 vlogs out of River Forge. That's so true. And I'm hoping, like I said before, about now that I'm working full time, the weekends are more special. So I'm hoping to do some Red River Gorge weekends coming up for sure. Watch the movie The Way. Good idea about what the Camino is like. Awesome. Good recommendation. Also, Hoosier National Forest. Oh, wildlife critters. Ooh, that'd be fun. Oh, okay. Plants, birds, etc. Nice. I don't know. I feel like there's so many people with more knowledge about nature out there. It would be really cool, though. Recently, I learned that red F's, EFT, red efts, plural, that is a juvenile stage of a salamander. Those are the little orangish lizards that on the AT and in Red River Gorge. So probably throughout the Appalachian Mountains, that's the little guy that comes out when it rains, and when you get your camera down on the ground with him, he's going. I can't do it, but they're so cute. Thompson would like to see a starter course on blogging for a through hike, just some basics and for dailies or multi-week vlogs. I think I already made a video about how to film a through hike. It would have been in early 2024 after I finished my own. But I talked about like the editing process and the apps that I use and all that. So I don't know what else I would say to that, but that is a good suggestion. Jet V said, yeah, but you can come across some. Oh, interesting. Good job. Chase loved the red apps. Yes, they're awesome. Jet V says, so it would be interesting, like what you just told us. Aw, Mama Muffin knows what I'm talking about. Tom says, do you utilize app for identification of plants and critters? Not so far, I haven't. I have been around people, like my family, that use the Merlin app for identifying bird sounds. That's always cool. I haven't used them just because I'm already on my phone so much filming that I don't want to also be on my phone identifying stuff. So, not so far, but it is a really cool idea. And it's so cool that we live in this day and age where we're able to just look random stuff up like that. That is incredible. Steve says, gonna sign off, Maddie. Recovering from shoulder surgery, so I'm gonna take a break. Well, thank you for stopping by, Steve. Hope your shoulder heals up real good. You have a good night. Chase says Merlin and Seek are good. What does Seek do? That sounds interesting. Mr. Plumber Guy says, you still getting stuff done? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And earning more money these days, too. Now that I have a full-time job, I'm working 40 hours a week. So I am, have that steady income. YouTube is kind of just like a gamble, Sometimes you put in a lot of effort and, anything could happen. It's a game of chance. It's cool to be creative, but I like having a steady job that's doing good for me. What are you doing for work, Maddie? Well, I don't want to say exactly what I'm doing just because, internet safety, but it's an office job. And I'm using a lot of like math skills and learning procedures and then having to remember, okay, first you click this and then you click this, you print out this form. So yeah, it's doing good. I really enjoy it. It is a job, so it's not like my life calling, but it's good for what it is. Eddie Hunter says, would you ever come over to the UK? Yes, I've been to the UK a few times. Never, it was always before I had my YouTube channel, unfortunately. I have visited friends and been around London a lot, that's for sure, but I haven't explored the nature portion of it. So yeah, I would love to come to the UK again. I know, let's see, the Great Highland Way, that's in Scotland, I think. And that's definitely on my list. So someday I would love to. One time I was visiting friends in Scotland and we were just driving around looking at Highland cows and it was just the best. Jet V says, and hopefully health plan and 401k savings for future. No, this job I got doesn't have any benefits, but oh, thank you so much, Leanne. Merry Christmas. Shoot, thank you, Leanne. I do appreciate that. I didn't lose all track of what I was saying. Oh yeah, there aren't a lot of benefits to this job, but hopefully either this job leads to a different job or I can convince my boss, like, hey, see how hard I am working? So, sorry, I'm getting a little behind on answering questions. Mr. Plumagay says, after watching the AT, I'm still dreaming about it. I don't know, man. Maybe look into it. Might be worth it. Although it is very challenging, but it is very rewarding. Tom Ellis says, you need to do a week in your cat's life where you do a voiceover to explain what your cat is thinking. She's over here sleeping right now. Don't look at my messy home, but oh, that's so cute. I looked over and be like, yeah, Sophie, you hear that? We can make a video together, girl. Let's see. Oh, Eddie, you said our flat is open, meaning, at first I thought you were talking about like how it's not very mountainous, but you mean flat as in apartment. Oh, the American mind cannot comprehend. Sorry about that, but I get it now. Thank you for the offer. John Wigrin says, what's this channel about? Outdoor adventure, to say it shortly. When I go live, when I was living in a van, I was out in nature, but nowadays it's kind of hard to get out on a weeknight. So right now we're just chilling and chatting. I'm also a beer fan, although that's not really a focus of the channel. That's kind of I don't know, an inside joke, a tradition, a recurring theme. Deha says, I met you on Bemis Mountain in Maine shortly after bumping into Smoke. He told me his girlfriend was not far ahead. It was adorable. Oh, that's awesome. I don't remember Bemis Mountain. That could have been, I might have already, if you have ever been in my chat before, I might have told you this story already. But there was one day in Maine where he met someone that recognized him. I think it was from my YouTube channel. And then I met someone that recognized me from YouTube. And then when I saw him, he was like, why don't we wait till we see that person again and we can ask for a ride to town? And I was like, hey, I really don't want to go into town tonight. Just really want to put my head down and hike. And I didn't know it, but he was like really hurting, really wanting to go into town. So that was like a big regret of mine that we didn't hopefully try to meet up with you again and ask, would you mind giving us a ride? So I don't know if that's you, but just a random story to tell. Eric says, I hope you do well at your job. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm doing pretty good at my job so far. Haven't messed up in a big way so far. What are some of your favorite hiking YouTube channels? I've met Hiking Dancer and Ramdino. I forget the full name of his channel. Trails with Ramdino, Hikes with Ramdino. But he's like an AT News channel. I've met them in person, and so I watch their channel a lot to, just see what's going on with them, keep up. And let's see, that's pretty much it. I don't like watching hiking YouTube as much because I feel like I might accidentally copy people without meaning to. So those are the two hiking channels that I really watch regularly. I would love to hike the Dolomites in Italy. Yes, that's on my list too, Jason. They look so cool. Rob, that guy says, do you feel like your body aged at all during your hikes from stress, or did you end up more in shape than you started? When I was just off the trail, like for several months afterwards, my knees hurt so bad going up and downstairs. And I was like, my body will never be the same. But now that it's 2 years after, I don't really feel the difference. It could be that I just forget the way that I used to feel in 2020. Excuse me, I burped. In 2022, I forget the way that I feel compared to now. So maybe I did change and I just don't remember it, but I kind of feel the same as usual. And I wouldn't say I was in more shape than when I started. I definitely gained more muscle, but I was in constant pain. My knees especially, but also my feet, also my leg muscles, also my butt muscles. it was rough. I really felt like it wasn't healthy at a certain point because I was just so sore all the time. Jason said, your reporter videos have always been great. You could always go on the next snowstorm. Oh, that'd be so funny. That's a good one. I appreciate that. That's good. Is it cold where you live? Yeah, I live in southern Indiana, and it is pretty cold. Not snowy, just cold and gray so far. Tom Ellis says, have you ever attended the Kentucky Derby or some events during the Derby week right leading up to the race day? Yes, I have. I haven't been to the Derby itself because it is a pretty expensive event. I go to Derby parties, though. There's always people hosting that, you watch the Derby together. People decorate with like roses and jockey silks. So that's always fun. Events leading up to the Derby, yes, especially when I was a kid and I lived in Louisville. The Derby parade, Thunder over Louisville, which is fireworks, the balloon glow. Oh my goodness. So many good childhood memories. Yeah, definitely. Jiha says, it might be I would have given you a ride. Oh, I'm in your life as long as I remember. Oh, man, if only. I'm going to tell Smoke that well, maybe I won't bring it up because he was pretty, like, he really wanted to go to town and he was upset that I didn't at least, think about it. But I was just so exhausted at that point. I was like, we need to get closer to the end. We need to stop taking breaks or we'll never get done. Anyway, Eddie Hunter says, if you are ever in South Wales, you got a bed to rest in, no need to post. South Wales or New South Wales? South Wales is the southern part of the country of Wales. New South Wales is a state in Australia. Oh, hiking the trails. Right. Thank you, Jason. How did you balance on-trail blogging work and just enjoying the trail experience? Ooh, good question. I feel like when I was filming, it was coming from a place of I'm capturing this memory for me personally to look back on and to share with the world. I did feel like sometimes I was worried about ruining moments by filming them. I didn't want anyone to be self-conscious or anything, but I always tried to think of it as this is something I'm doing to enhance my memories. Even in the moment, it's cool to think about, oh, the sunlight is so pretty. I can capture it from this angle and it'll look really cool. So yeah, I just kind of approached it as a boost to enjoy my trail experience. Good question. Jet said, when you are 65, your knees will remind you. Oh, I bet. Would you do the SHT again? Maybe. Because it's far away from where I live and because there's other trails that just really intrigue me more, it would probably not be super likely just because, I'd rather explore somewhere new, but it was a really cool trail. Especially, I hear fall is cool. The only time I could do it was in early June, and of course the bugs were bad, but it was a really good trail. I liked it a lot. Tom says, my sister is retired from the Louisville Courier-Journal. That's our newspaper. She used to cover the Derby and some of the social parties. She's also a food editor for that paper. Oh my goodness. I wonder if I ever read one of her articles. I bet my parents definitely read one of her articles. You sound like a tiny nomad. You both mentioned Kentucky. Wonder if it's a thing. I don't know what you mean by that. Is a tiny nomad a channel? If so, I haven't met them. I've met Marshall from Marshall's Nomadic Adventures. or mellow nomadic adventures, but not tiny nomad. UK Wales, says Eddie. Nice. Oh, when I was backpacking Europe, I was going to go to Wales, but then COVID happened. It was like my grand finale of the trip was going to be St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, then go to Wales, then go to London, then go home. And of course, COVID happened. So didn't really get to do that, but Wales looks so beautiful and I can't wait to go. Eddie, you're so lucky that you live there. That's awesome. Morbus says, how tough was getting a JMT permit? Did you do southbound? I did do southbound. It was really tough. I applied for the normal in advance permit and just couldn't get it. And this was 2022, and they had a you could apply online the week before, kind of a last minute permit. And so I did that. And the first day I tried, it looked like I wasn't going to get it and I would have to try again tomorrow. But then what was it? It looked like I wasn't going to get it. It was like 0 permits left. And then I refreshed the page and it said 2 permits left, as in someone canceled their reservation that used to have 2. So I clicked as fast as I could, typed in my address and contact info as fast as I could. And it was pretty challenging. Definitely, for sure. But because I lived in a van, I kind of had an advantage of a flexible schedule that allowed me to do that week in advance permit. On the AT thru hike, which did you appreciate more? Tenting, hostels, or trail sheds? Hostels were cool because it was like a refresh to get a shower. You might sleep better in a real bed. You're in town, so you might get more food and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a separate category than tents and shelters. I really liked shelters more because of the community vibes. I think if I could redo it again, I would set up my tent more because I probably got worse sleep. But it was so cool to just be like, yeah, I'm not setting up my tent. Yeah, I'm going to sleep next to a stranger tonight, but we're used to it. Pop Pop said, I like UK Great Britain countryside. It's beautiful. Yeah, for real. What would be your dream camping vehicle if money was no object? Good question. Maybe a Sprinter van. One that was small enough to fit into a parking space, because they can get really long and hard to drive. And I don't want to go too big because if it's hard to drive, then, being scared and gripping the wheel every time I drive, that would not be worth it. But I think a Sprinter van would be really cool. More space, more I don't know. I feel like people that do Sprinter vans usually have a good heating system for the winter time. They have showers sometimes. They have compost toilets. So yeah, that'd be really cool. Good question. He says, you bad young lady, on to Wales. The Ghost Rainbow said, I wanted to let you know that you're my top channel. No way. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So that brings up a good thing to talk about, is that YouTube did a recap this year. Like Spotify tells you, here's your top artists and all that. YouTube did, here's your top channels for this year. My top channels, the first one was my own channel, and I was like, well, that's not really fair, because I do a lot of I don't know, just checking to make sure my videos are good. Once I post them, make sure there's no glitches or anything. Sometimes I watch old videos to be like, did I what was, just remember facts that I might have forgotten. For example, we talked about earlier in this live, I don't remember what kind of electricity I got. My top channels. Here you go. I listen to a lot of Sabrina Carpenter music. Hannah Alonso is like social media. She talks a lot about multi-level marketing influencers and like crazy stuff influencers post. So that is my go-to. I don't know who JM Professor is. I don't remember. So I don't know how that became my top channel. I do listen to like background music sometimes. Like if I'm trying to get sleepy, I'll listen to acoustic guitar. If I have a headache, there's like a vibrancy for headaches that's apparently works. I don't know if it does or not, but it's good just to have something. And funky frog bait is like pop culture. So none of these are hiking channels, which I'm really surprised about. But I did get the adventurer as a category of most videos I like to watch are adventurous. So interesting. So thank you for that. The Ghost Rainbow. That is an honor to be your top. Oh my goodness. Eric says, I saw you posted live at 8 p.m. So happy for you. Aw, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Marshall Jim Duncan said, hi, Maddie. Glad I found your live stream. What's your favorite food and what's your favorite Christmas movie? Ooh. Let's see. My favorite food. I guess I would say mac and cheese. On one hand, if I eat too much of it, you feel very lethargic. But there's nothing that I look forward to more because it's just so comforting and delicious. My favorite Christmas movie, maybe Elf. I'm not a huge Christmas movie person, but I remember when Elf came out in 2002, I think it was. And I just think it's really funny. I like how they have the like classic claymation, like North Pole looking stuff, like when there's that snowman and the narwhal. That claymation is really nostalgic and good, and then I just think it's really funny. Good question. Jiha says, tell Smoke I would have refused to give you a ride. Okay, good. Maybe I'll get off the hook for that. Jason Spear says, I have a few strange ones in my top YouTube for the years as well. Definitely made me go, yeah, that was so interesting. I wonder how that ended up. Sierra Farrell, old country / blues artist. I think I've heard of her, and she is an acquired taste. One of a kind. Try her and give me feedback. Okay, good idea. I've definitely heard at least one of her songs before because it sounds really familiar. Hold on 1 second. My cat is meowing. I'm trying to talk quietly because my boyfriend's asleep, and if she starts meowing, he's definitely going to wake up. I'll be back. She doesn't like to be held while I'm sitting down. I think that scares her for some reason. She meows a lot because she wants attention. She wants us to play with her, but it's not always possible. Marshall Jim Duncan says, when I can't sleep, I like to listen to nature documentaries. Especially ones narrated by David Attenborough. Nice. I love claymation too, especially Dave and Goliath. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I was thinking claymation like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That type of stuff. Cats are so funny. Yes, they are. Eric says meow. Chase says my cat is on. Oh, that's so cool. Did your cat react when I saw when my cat was on the screen? Well, y'all, I do have to get off here soon. My plan was to just go live for an hour. Um, time flies when you're having fun, but I do have to go to bed soon. So I guess if no one has any questions, I guess I'll just call it a night. Thank you all for chatting. This has been so fun. Posting that 5-year anniversary and telling people, hey, I'm not going to post every week anymore. On one hand, it felt like I was like, I don't know. I don't want anyone to be bummed because I love making videos and I like having you all as like a community of people to talk to every week through comments, through live streams. I was hoping to not lose that. So I'm really glad you all are here for this live. Cheers to the future. Good night, Jim. Peter Santinel is a good YouTuber. Okay. Good stuff, Peter Santinel. Jet V says good night. Thanks for sharing. Aw, thank you all. You are too kind. Thank you, Leanna Loves Mountains. I appreciate it. You all are the nicest. I love you so much. Have a good night. Bye. Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then. Bye.